Hello, hello! It's Aarnimetsa from Mania, and it's time for our Project Phoenix to carry on. And Project Phoenix is from $150 to 1K, and I think this is the 11th day. I have had time for only one session today, so not much progress. On yesterday, I ended at 170 something, and I thought that today we are going to go back to 3.5s. Well, it didn't happen quite like it. So back at $150. Well, we can see now that the Project Ostrich is not hiding his head in the grass or deep inside the ground anymore, but more like you can see the feathers. You can see the feathers in the grass already. And today it's like minus 20 bucks, something like that. And for the whole project, we are doing it since date of. So it hasn't been going on like it should have. Like in 1.5s, we should have been winning $105 and be away from these games long time ago. But during this project, we have only won 31 bucks, and actually, we don't need that filter. And when we are taking the 3.5s into account as well, we are at exactly 0 as it's here, and then we are at 86. So we should have won 86 bucks already, but no such luck. And also, but we are trying to make the phoenix fly. Actually, I went to the zoo, and in zoo I took pictures because there were phoenixes in the Tallinn Zoo. And I must say that I have never been more disappointed of a bird than when I saw a phoenix live. Like, that was the first time I'm trying to oh, they have phoenixes here. And that bird looks puny. It's not even in a good, cute way puny, but it's like, it just it just shows that somebody that created that bird didn't love birds or didn't love that bird. Okay, let's get the games going, and we are getting the games. And actually, the Project Ostrich might be, since ostriches in real life, those are majestic birds. And that's actually something that ostrich, a good old Estonian bird. You can't see ostriches in Tallinn Zoo, but you can see ostriches in Estonia. Like, there are big farms of ostriches. And like last Valentine's Day, we went to eat the Valentine's Day menu in a restaurant with Teija that always advertises that they are making only with the best food from the Estonian islands, and they are happy of the Estonian heritage. And I think when the first course arrived and it was ostrich, then it was like, well, you are always so proud that you are doing the best of what the islands can offer, and you are serving us ostrich at first, so what's going on? And they said that they have another restaurant in the islands, and they are having, like, their neighbor is ostrich farm with 200 ostriches. So ostrich is a good Estonian bird, apparently. And Kauris says that is my mic muted. I hope not. I have been talking a lot and not about poker. I need to get the PT4 going again. Here's a better looking phoenix for you. That's actually been a problem in Estonia as well, that in Tartu there have been ostriches. Like when ostrich gets away, it can run like 80 kilometers quite quickly, like in an hour or so, and then when they're trying to find these birds, of course it's easier to find a flightless bird than a flying bird, but I think that this is something that induces panic. In a weird way, I like this game when the game doesn't start yet. It's it's going to be okay. Okay, Pocket Nines. We are getting a 3x race. I think that actually shoving should be at least okay. It's a spot that I don't wanna call, I don't wanna fold, I don't wanna shove, but I need to choose one option. And I think that actually probably calling, shoving, and folding, I think equities are quite close to each other. And Eki said, have you ever tried these birds' eggs? Never. But I know that like if you are visiting one of those farms that are having ostriches, you can order an ostrich egg, and that's something like 2 kilos or something. And they are opening them with machetes because you just can't crack it on a countertop. And it's something like it's equal to a lot of eggs, a lot of chicken eggs. But I have heard that the ostrich eggs are that they would taste like eggs, and the only novelty would be that they are big. But ostrich meat is nothing like chicken meat, so the meat is really different. Might be that the eggs are too. But so if you haven't tried, ostrich meat is delicious, and that's something highly recommend you to try if you are going to a well-stocked restaurant. And if you are coming to Estonia and you are visiting a well-stocked Estonian restaurant that has a well-stocked cupboard full of Estonian birds like ostriches. Okay, actually, I was a bit too greedy with my chat boxes, so we can still move this other table a bit farther away to here. This is easy spot with pocket nines. But I need to post a picture of a phoenix, since I was underwhelmed. And of course, Atlas GD had pocket aces there with my pocket nines. Wouldn't still change a thing. I think that shoving is going to be by far the best equity move. So this guy, he might be a bit aggressive, but also one of those aggressive guys that are really aggressive in position and not crazy on early positions. So might actually be that he's crazy, but he's one of those kind of crazies that are not easy to get money away from. Egg is maybe good breakfast with bacon. I think it should be. Like, isn't a good breakfast just like you add bacon and then anything else? Anything else with bacon. And it's always going to be good. And true story, I have a friend that when he stays in hotels, he's always going to write a 1-star review if the restaurant doesn't serve bacon on breakfast. Always. Like, it doesn't matter what else happens in the restaurant. If they don't serve bacon, they are worth 1 star. So if you're a hotel owner and you don't serve bacon and you are wondering Where do your 1-star ratings come from? Start serving bacon. And I don't think that if you are something like vegan hotel, it's not an excuse. Danita said I didn't even know that there was a real bird called Phoenix. Me neither. And that's something to be surprised about. But aha, that's why we visit zoos. To learn about animals we didn't know stuff about beforehand. Ah, nice. We are having a player that we want to play against, even though this looks quite nasty. That there is going to be some weird stuff happening. Like, why do you min raise there if you are? And he min raised called with ace-9. I probably wouldn't want to induce with ace-9 suited. This queen deuce is all about trying to bluff it away, even though we are having an opponent that likely is going to be a loose player. I think that we are still going to have good enough equity to min raise that, and people are not in these 1.5 people are not going to call often enough in those spots. And Kill for Fun asked, where's the project going? The project is going at around break even at the moment. Not happy with it, but that's where it's going. And actually, when at the worst moment we were like $100 in the negative, so we had like $50 remaining. Being at break even is actually, I should probably be more happy about being break even than I am, but it's just so hard. Like, it's so hard to be positive about being break even. I don't know why. Like, being break even is still like we aren't getting anywhere, and that's sometimes a bit frustrating. And Deja said that, yeah, there's also a Husqvarna mover in Tallinn too. Yeah, they have an enclosed area for a robot mover, a robot lawnmower. That there's the Husqvarna lawnmower that's going in circles in. And Eki says that he has never been in a hotel where there isn't bacon at breakfast. Well, you have been lucky, or you have been choosing wisely. I think you have been avoiding those hotels with 1-star reviews. But there are hotels that are not serving bacon at breakfast. Might also be that there is just too little bacon at breakfast, so that if you are the first one to wake up for breakfast, you might get bacon, but if you are the last ones to breakfast, you are not getting bacon, and that's a mistake, and that's a mistake that should be punishable by even something worse than just the 1-star review. Like, if you are doing bacon, you should do enough bacon. Trying to hide the stack size a bit, and I don't think that there is going to be that big of a difference between how often these guys are going to call if I shove or if I do a smaller raise. But it's hotels do get it that you need to have bacon at breakfast or your hotel sucks, basically. If he would have been a habitual limper, or this guy would have limped, I think that we are going to shove a king 3 off. But I don't know. That just looks weird. On an ace board, I think that we just need to fold. Not that happy about it, though. Poker High from Germany. Pokeri High in Finnish would be Poker Shark, so maybe that's a Finn living in Germany. Let's see here. I think Pocket Nines is going to be a fine shove. And I think that this guy is going to be dead money most of the time. What? Okay. I take it. I thought that when it goes to the flop and there is just like... I thought that when it's a flop pot and there is going to be... When it's a flop pot and both of these guys are going... I thought my equity is going to sink so badly. Habitual limper, punish the habitual limpers. They can't have good enough hands to call that often, so punishing the habitual limpers is going to be is usually going to be quite monetarily profitable. Neo1186 says that what are the reasons that some regs just don't move up the limits, like even over large sample at decent ROI? I think some regs just get comfortable and at wherever they are, or might be that some regs are that they are at a level that they pretty much like can't afford going higher. That they are like using the money that they are getting in. Perhaps they are not using the money to move up like they probably should if they would only care about money, but probably they are then more maybe they are using the money for something else and can't move up, or perhaps they are just scared about going higher, or perhaps they don't even aspire to go higher. Like one story is that Bill Gates wants to play only small stakes, no limit, since all the time the money means nothing to him, but feeling as a winner is going to be more important than and like being able to beat the games. Like might be that there are some guys that are not even aspiring to be pros or not even aspiring to be like serious players, but are enjoying a game that they beat. Like that's always also when you are looking at poker, you are usually looking at like this is my viewpoint to poker, and then like everybody else that has a different viewpoint are doing it wrong. But I'm usually trying to understand on the different viewpoints, and like if your goal is to make as much money as possible, if you are staying at like 1.5s even when you are beating them for 20,000 games with a good ROI, you are not making the most money, but perhaps it's not even your goal. And some of the 1.5 regs play higher as well, yeah. That's also true. And like even when I'm going to in this project go higher, I'm mostly trying to have only two different buy-ins I'm going to play at the same time. But I had some hands on some of the regs in these games already, so that pretty much shows you that the same guys that play 15s are playing also 1.5s or have played 15s, and that has been one wondering one sense of wonder for me, that here are guys that are solid, like solid players, good players. Why are they still at 1.5s? Nah, nah, nah. Just got to get it in there. In here, NXP Ninja is a good player, so we can just shove it and he'll know to fold away most of his hands. Mm. That's a special play of a special play. When I think that this guy that's the biggest stack doesn't know to fold enough, if I would min raise, or if I would min raise here, I'm expecting that he would be 3-betting me quite a lot of the time. But if I'm shoving, he's going to call me too much, and that's going to be bad for my equity. But limping might be a way to get equity out of the hand without risking off all of my stack, and trying to keep the pot small and trying to exploit the opponents a bit. Hmm. We have position and we have everything here, but this looks just so horrible. So this is an Husqvarna auto mover for auto mower. How do you say it? That's a hard word. I wanna watch at my lawnmower, and now you are getting me back into the games. That's harsh. That's harsh. Mm. Opponent limp calls. Is my king good enough ever? Can I bluff my way out here? Of course I can. 4-6-0 fold in my opinion. That 4-6 off was when we had like 22 big blinds or 22 chips. In this case, like, even when we are not on the blinds, but we are having only 39 chips, so almost half of our stack size is going to be all in before the flop. I think that just the 4-6 off is going to be a call. Even when it's on the bubble, I just don't think that opponents are going to do mistakes often enough. If Deya is having our camera, you could also upload the picture of a phoenix. Let's shove it and let's make these regs suffer. And Husqvarna is an animal. Yeah, it's a grass-eating animal. It's like a cow that makes more sound and less smell. I'm probably too weak against these guys that are habitual limpers and just too afraid that they are going to call me every time in those spots that they are having a spot where they can really screw me over. And yeah, like, I pretty much I know how it should be pronounced. I just can't pronounce it. That's like, I know how it should go, doesn't go there. It's a bit like if you are a Finn and trying to explain how coffee liqueur is going to be pronounced in Finnish. Even though if they perfectly know it, they just can't say it. Even though it's the easiest thing in the world. Just a simple kahvilikööri. And Tasteya said that you'll never know what you can see in a zoo. But thanks for Kill for Fun and Danita for trying. Movember. Danita said that it doesn't help us that much. When we are still forced to go in. Yeah, we are still forced to go all in, but I think it matters a lot that if we are being forced to go all in with 24 chips or if we are forced to go all in with 180 chips. Since with 180 chips, if we win a forced all in, we are going to have like 3 big blinds, and if we are having the 24 chips, we are still having like a small blind and we are going to be forced all in twice in a row. This is also like, if this guy would understand this game, this would be an easy shove, but I'm just not sure. T9 off on the bubble should be a clear shove. Yeah. Probably it's going to be a clear Nash shove. But Nash would depend that opponents are understanding their situation. And I think every opponent should have quite a tight range. Actually, in that case, when there are still going to be two regs that are having there are going to be two regs that are having, when there are two regs, but also when the big blind is not a reg, and that's the guy that's going to call most often. And that's the guy that still should be really tight. Perhaps I should mark it down on like how tight the opponent would need to be, or how wide the opponent would need to be. And now we don't need to care anymore against this Kautan. Three deuce off, limp call. This is cool. Like, this is cool. Opponent limp called with 3 deuce off and just shoved it in on the turn with 3 overcards, hitting a deuce. Let's say that thank you for your donation. And Neo said that if the min raiser on the bubble would understand the game, would that be not more reason to fold and not 3-bet him? Depends a bit, like if they are going to be aggressive no matter what and going to have a sizable 3-betting or min raise bluff range anyways, or if they are just going to be guys that just don't understand that if they have an ace X that they just can't fold. But if it's going to be a player that somewhat understands and knows that he needs to be tight but doesn't have any bluffs in his range, then of course we would need to be really cautious. Not that nice in a hyper heads up that when we are just having this kind of a stack size. Of course, it's nice that our opponent raise folds a ton here. Or limp folds a ton and folds a ton of his big blinds. With the queen we are going to try to get his stack. Position is also going to be pretty nice. I'm going to hate my life when he shoves, though, but... when just opponent has folded so much. I don't get his strategy, but I'm enjoying every bit of it. And now that I'm seeing how much he's limp folded here, I'm getting a sense of I'm kind of hating it. I'm like, if it's just 4 big blinds, I'll need to call with 10-8. Even though I don't want to have big pots against these kind of guys. Not just in a position to choose. But now when I have seen how he plays heads up, I know that I probably missed some value in there since I could have made him fold a lot of the times. Even on the bubble. And I don't care even if we lose this. It's if we have this stack sizes, we are going to lose some heads ups. But we got so much of those non-showdown chips there that pretty much no matter what, I know that our equity in that heads up was quite good when we got something like 2,500 chips just in non-showdown chips. Even though we got it in bad a couple of times. I just don't think that we could have gotten it in that many times in that bad of an equity. Maniacot's range, we are going to get about 40%, and we'll need to increase our stack size when our worst opponent is going to have at least 700 chips. We got enough equity and opponent flopped the jack and then we river the king. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. And if opponent shoves hands like 10 jack off there, I think that we know that it's going to be just going to be profitable. And now it's nice that we are having the position that we are going to be the guy that shoves over the other small stacks. I think it's going to be an advantage here, since that helped us that helped us to get a bit larger stack, especially if this guy is a passive guy, then we can get a lot of advantage here. Of course, if he would be a really good opponent, if he would be a really good opponent, then this wouldn't be an advantageous spot, since he would be shoving on us a lot. But if we can get the best of both worlds, that he's not raising a lot to our blinds, and also that he's not, but he's still going to help us, that opponents are going to avoid clashing with him, then that's something that, like, there are some guys that are saying that, but I can't play against the biggest stack. But it doesn't matter if your opponent has the biggest stack if he doesn't use the biggest stack. Outdrawn twice on the bubble. Out. Once again. Harsh. Mm. Oh wow. Not going to change anything there, but getting it with queens against kings is something that in hypers, if you get queens and your opponent gets aces or kings, usually there isn't much to be done. There are some situations where there has been an aces and queens and just people that just haven't gotten the money in pre-flop. And on the flop, something like, there can happen quite a lot where pocket queens doesn't want to add more money in. But not that much that pocket aces wouldn't want to add money in. Yep, fourth place. Oh well. What did the other guy raise call you when you 3-bet ace king suited on the bubble? King 7 suited. If I'm at the same ace king suited. No, actually it was different. If it's this ace king suited, then it's going to be ace queen off. The opponent raise called. This guy that I'm not sure that if he's a reg or not. And this would be a spot where I wouldn't think that inducing with ace queen off would be the best line. I think that shoving the ace queen off will almost always be the best line. But there was another spot previously. This is actually ace king off that our opponent had king 7 suited. Good questions, and if you talk about the hand, please tell me what hand it was so I can take a look. Since there are quite a few hands, and when we are having quite sizable delay, close to 2 mins, then it's going to be harder for me to keep in mind all of the hands. Especially if it's a hand that I'm not thinking that that's that different or that's that weird. And for Kauris, actually, that Husqvarna's the robot mowers are never using gas. I think that all of the robot mowers are going to be electrical. And there's something like, we were at the hardware store and there was something like 3,000 euros for a robot lawnmower. And then it was said that like it mows 4,000 square meters. And then I was trying to think, like, who's having a lawn like that? Like a full soccer field is 6,000. Like who is having a yard that's having 2/3 of a football field? Of course, if I would have a yard like that, I would have a robot mower, since I wouldn't want to mow that one. Deja says that there's like 50 pictures of elephants. When we are sent to the zoo to get pictures of elephants, what do you think that we are going to get pictures of? And Neo said that yeah, it was the ace king suited, but interesting because he would have gotten you to fold ace king suited because of ICM if you would have shoved. Yep. I think that's one spot that he can only have good things happen to him because he shoves and not a lot of bad things. The guy that calls 2 all-ins with ace-9 off. Well, I'd just say that that's not going to be a good place to be. I don't know. I'm thinking that this is close, even though I don't think that we are going to play that well against his range. We are just having, basically, we are having 3 hands to get all in. So it's closer than it looks on the first look, I think. And Neo said that, wow, well, at least the games are juicy. Yeah, it's just that it takes a toll when you are playing juicy games, and still there are going to be... It's going to take a toll on the mental side when you are playing juicy games. You know that you are playing juicy games, and the Phoenix just doesn't take flight. Oh, this doesn't look to be a profitable style to play. Probably going to open about 25 more minutes so that we are ending about 10 o'clock Central European time. Might be tomorrow that I'm going to have a good time to do pretty good sessions. Just trying to get as much folds as I can. Even with ace-9, I think that the more folds we get, the better off we are. Kauri said that Husqvarna washing machine's motor works good for a cart. Running a one-time do-it-yourself cart for this motor. And stupid idea to build a cart with no brakes. Yeah. But the karting cars, they are great. The karting carts are pretty awesome, and I think like something like washing machine motor, it's something like 1000 watts or something like that. So if you are having like 120 kilos or something to move and you are having a good battery, it should really move, but you just need to have brakes. Like one of the things why the carts are such fun to drive are that they are going to, the better brakes you are having on a cart, the nicer it is, or the faster lap times you can run. Callion said that evening good session this time. I don't think that this session differs much from the earlier sessions we have had. Phoenixes. Phoenixes. You can see those birds, that if those aren't underwhelming birds for phoenixes. I don't know what is an underwhelming bird. Eki asks, what time do I start tomorrow? I'm going to start at 9, so the streams are going to be about the same time, but I'm trying to get more games in. That I'm trying to get something like 500, 600 games in tomorrow. Linko. What's linko in English? That's actually a good question. Trying to remember what's the speed called one on the rotation. And also with electrical motors, you can run them with more power. But if you are having something like a kart engine, then having a washing machine dryer motor that's AC motor, it's probably going to be not optimal, since you are going to require an inverter. And we brake with shoes to wheel style or wall. Well, wall braking is called crashing. And usually that's one of the that's on my playbook. Crashing a car or crashing a cart is usually one of the not good ideas part. And Danita asked that I'm thinking about starting a spin and go project. Do you think that it's a good idea? Would it be a casual / fun project? I don't know. I think it depends a bit. Eki says it's a football day. That's like, yeah, so that it's football, but it's not the king of sports. Like, ice hockey season is already over, so. Awesome. Getting it in with quite a nice equity in a three-way pot. Yeah, like, Neo, there are rounds per minute, but what's it called? What's the speed called? It's not a dryer. It's not rinsing. Extractor. I don't think it's extractor. Not completely sure though. Spin dryer. Yeah. So it's going to be spin speed. And nice to get a fold with 2.1 big blinds in bubble. Yeah. I would have actually folded a lot of hands there, since I thought my opponent that had a small stack would do a lot of mistakes. And Eki asks, what the hell am I talking about? I'm talking about the true king of sports. Erlacht, thinks about velocity. But I was trying to think about what's going to be the speed that's called when that how quickly does the washing machine spin. And if washing machine spins and goes, then there's something wrong with your washing machine. And we can slow down speed on shoes, and last stop is a wall. About 3 centimeters still on the front, and it works and it hurts. I think that's the right place to use works and hurts at the same sentence. Arla says that true king of sports is poker, guys. Maybe that if there is maybe if there is football on the TVs, might actually be a good idea to not hold a session then and just try to focus on the grind. And why not betting with 10-7 off at any point? Wrong 10-7 off. On the flop we would probably have the best opportunity to bet. And on the turn, I think that when we have a flush draw, I think that checking behind is going to be better. The river where opponent bets to us, I think that it would have been probably a good idea to bet on the flop. Why a blonde is running in Bath? She uses wash and go. And Neo, I was trying to find out what the speed is called for the washing machine so that I would know what the spin dryer part of the washing machine is called. And soon we are talking about the conservation of angular momentum in here. And Neo's the last post, I'm not even trying to read that, since that's going to be a bit too matty for me. Probably a good idea to mark this guy as well. Oh wow. Trying to be Sherlock Holmes on a stream does result in unintended consequences. That people are googling for what's the speed of rotation called, and not what's the speed of rotation called in a washing machine. That's going to be that was the original question, and it has morphed a bit. Probably actually trying to just get more tables going on now, and then just going those to the end. Opponent opens for 4x, that's going to be small to medium pocket pairs so often, and pocket 8s we are going to play quite well against those. But Kauris says that it's the first ever stupid machine. No brakes or seatbelts what he built. But that's the most important thing. It might be the first stupid machine, but it won't be the last. So I think boys will be boys, and building stupid stuff is one of the funner parts of childhood. And don't build a moving machine without seatbelts or brakes. Actually, when I have been driving carts in Tallinn, I don't think that the carts are having any seatbelts in them. You don't need seatbelts when you are just driving quick. You are getting pushed back to your seats anyway. But if you don't have brakes, then at least have seatbelts. But I would prefer, if I'd need to choose between seatbelts and brakes, I would choose brakes every day. Poker question: is it simple to read fish in sea or on stars? I think fishes on stars are easier to read, and fishes in the sea are harder to predict. Brakes are the enemy of speed, and Eki says that brakes will kill all the fun. No, brakes won't kill all the fun. If you want to go fast with something, one of the surprising things that you'll need to do to make something go fast is to make it stop fast. Because when you have turns, you wanna stop fast, and even if you're having something like a drag race car, if you want to make it quick, you need to make it stop. Like, they're having parachutes and everything to slow the cars down. And actually, like, if Kauris would be young now, then there would be sophisticated engine controllers for those applications that you can have the battery regeneration for the cart, so that you could use the washing machine engine to brake and recharge the batteries at the same time. So that would also be environmentally friendly. Okay, these are going to be the last games for today. NXP Ninja shoves. Are we getting enough equity? No. Close, but no. In here, I think we can go pretty close to the full pot. Trying to just get the last of the chips in. Yeah, ace 9 is going to be good enough. We are going to get enough equity for sure. And amazing machines of our childhoods are going to get crushed. That's just the way of life. You build something amazing and then it gets crushed. But brakes are next and the seatbelt is last problem. And also, like, I haven't had an accident with a car. Or I have had an accident in a car. I have driven a car against a tree and broke my arm in 2 places. And I was probably 10 at the time. I had one of those cart type of cars, Lokari auto, that had like a lawnmower engine in them, and they did go something like probably 15 kilometers an hour or something. And we lived in a place where there was a bit more space around it, so you could drive around it quite nicely. And one day I just happened to hit a tree pretty much head on, and the hand went in the steering wheel and punk, punk. Broke two bones in my hand, and after that, like, I haven't had any accidents with cars after I have turned 11. So, and Kauris says that this idea is live for today because we can build an electric car with maximum 25 kilometers of speed and it's legal. Yeah, in Finland it's now that it's legal to create electrical vehicles. But it's so stupid at the same time. Like, you can create an electric kickboard that can go 25 kilometers an hour, or electric car, or electric cart, or anything that goes 25 kilometers an hour. It doesn't require anything. But if you want to create an electrical bicycle that goes over 15 kilometers an hour, it's going to need an insurance. Why? What makes a bike worse than a kick bike or a self-balancing scooter or something like that? Why bikes need insurance, but the other electrical, like, if you just don't have anything that you can spin yourself, then it's going to be okay. You don't need insurance. But if you have pedals, then it's like, you need to get that insured, son. Why? I have been thinking that something like electrical kickboard would probably be quite nice, especially something that if you can fit it to behind a car, it could be quite cool. Nice spot in 10-7 suited, but interesting when button calls with ace 8 off. Yeah, Bottom's call was pretty crappy. One of the adjustments that I have needed to make to think about that opponents are not understanding their ICM situations at all. And, well, I'm probably farther away from the NAS equilibrium or how these games should be played in these games than actually really interesting. Wouldn't have folded against just NXP Ninja, but I think that we have such a bad three-way equity in here that we just need to fold that even though we would only need 19%. But basically all of the basics of creating fun electronic toys or fun electronic ways to move yourself, like a cart or electric cart or electric trike or something like that, all of the different parts are pretty cheap nowadays. You can get pretty much everything, you can get pretty cheap and programmable, and you can get stuff that is like a charger controller and the speed controller for the engines. You can get those for just a really small amount of money that can do like battery regeneration and stuff like that. And Kauri said that electrical bicycle lethal speed is 25 kilometers an hour, but electrically assisted is no limit maybe. It's limited on where it can assist you. Like, the assist needs to cut off at 25 or 15 kilometers an hour. I don't remember it correctly. But there is a limit on where the electrical assist can come in. That if you want to speed with an electrical bicycle, you need to do it with your own muscle power. But it's also interesting to see, like, I don't remember, did they have any limitations there? Like, could you take like an old truck or something like that and just put an electrical engine in there that could only drive it for 25 kilometers an hour? Would that be road legal and not require a driver's license or anything? Since that would be quite cool as well. Especially if it's limited to use on bicycle roads only. I think people would be interested in seeing a Scania full truck coming through towards them at 20 kilometers an hour on a small bicycle road. Arla says that in Estonia they sell four-wheeled mopeds that have cabin and stuff. It's like a small car with the crap engine. Now the point, you don't need license and you can drive it every legal road. I don't think so. I actually think that the moped license in Estonia is really expensive. I was looking for something on how to get the motorcycle license in Estonia. And I think that I also saw moped licenses, and those are almost as expensive as in Finland, and that's going to be like really expensive in Estonia. Something like 250 euros or something like that. But those moped cars, those are really popular in Finland. Especially in So, especially in places that you just can't get around easily. Those moped cars are all over the place. And I think that I have seen like one moped car in Estonia during the time I have been here. But when I went to buy a lawnmower, I saw a 125 cubic centimeters Kevari, like light motorcycle that you can run like 100 kilometers an hour. It has only a small engine, but it costed 700 euros, brand new. 700 euros for a motorcycle. Like, what? I think that when I was young, the light motorcycles that were the cheapest were like something like 20 or 20,000 Finnish. 20,000 the previous Finnish money, so like 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 current euros. And now you can get probably a Chinese made, but you can get like those. You can get a full motorcycle, that not the moped, but a motorcycle, and you can get those for 700 euros. I don't know, like if they include a tank of gas, like if it's fully fueled, it's probably going to be something that would like move the price for a percent or something. But like the moped cars, they are worse than cars, and there is a stupid limitation that in Finland that the moped cars can have only like 350 cubic centimeter engine, and they are really bad and unsafe cars, and there are a lot of accidents. And one other option would be to limit like something like the smallest car, something like Toyota Aygo, to 50 kilometers an hour, and it would be a lot safer. And it would be a lot safer, and probably it would be something like 3,000 or 4,000 euros cheaper. But Arla, are you living in Estonia? Can you comment on me that if am I misguided if I think that mopeds in Estonia require a license nowadays? In Finland, it's also one of the interesting questions is that like for someone my age, I didn't require a moped license because I'm old enough to, and it was only for people that were younger, like something like born in 1990 or something like that. They require a moped license. But if there would be a hypothetical situation that police would take my driving license, but if I'm old enough to drive, if police would take my driving license, would I still be able to drive a moped or something like that? Even if I would be like 7 years younger or something like that, then I couldn't drive a moped without a license. But it would be interesting, like in a legal matter, that let's see what one of these is the most interesting. Well, we are going to get all in here, I think. He's our worst opponent here. Okay, so Allah is a fellow Estonian. I think it's like the AM categoria license or something like that you need with a moped nowadays. Oh, law says you can use maximum of 250 watt motor. That's crap. Even though with 250 watts, I think an electrical kick bike or something, it would really move. Like if you have only something like 20 kilos for the kick bike or something like that, I think it would still really move. Three of the last games remaining, and all of those are going in the money. There's a win. Do we get another win here? Let's get a win here. Win would be nice. Like take a win if you want the win. No, pick a win when you want to win. Crap. And PS 2011 says that you can drive without a license with a moped. So this is one of those things that were just being born at the right time makes a difference. And Kauris needed a moped license. That's nasty. This guy had put in the automated folds or automated calls. So I thought that if he automates everything, then we might have an exploit there to just trying to, even with the worst hands, trying to snap it against him. Since if he makes his decision beforehand with his weak hands, then he doesn't adjust. So Kauris says that EU directives conforming vehicles which power is at most 250 watts and the maximum speed is 25 kilometers an hour are going to be have a similar standing than bicycles in law. Neo asked that how did the session went overall. Well, I was feeling like crap the whole time, and we are already in profit. And hoping for 6 here. Whoa! Yeah! That's how you outdraw your opponents. But this is how it looks currently. Like 1.2 bucks. Even now, and it's just going to get better when this game finishes, since we are in the money. Not a win at the end, but we had 4 wins, 4 second places. So quite a nice in the, or not even nice in the money, like 32% in the money, but the third place is 36% in the money for 25 games, 4, 4 and 1. No for third place finishes. Let's get the EV adjusted for the session. And Callion said that might be interesting to get the motorcycle at some point, though have to drive a license for it. Yeah, I have been thinking about driving a license as well, and when I'm now living in Estonia and the motorcycle license would be cheaper here, I'm thinking about driving a motorcycle license at some point here. But it's going to be a language course for me, since all of the motorcycle license tests and everything related to motorcycle license is in Estonian. So, and probably all of the, I don't know, might be able to get someone that speaks Finnish. Or let's see, what's the EV adjusted? Pretty nice. Pretty nice. $6 for this session. So Project Phoenix is getting some flight. We are ending at something like $155 for today. Going to probably do at least one session more in the night shift, trying to put some night volume, and got to see tomorrow. Like, if there's soccer on, I think I might move the sessions to at some point that there's no soccer, but we'll see. I'll need to think about it, but probably tomorrow is going to be a day that I can put a lot of volume in. So now unfortunately it's time to say goodbye to you, dear listeners and dear chatters. Thank you everybody for watching, and thanks for chatting, especially. A lot of good comments from Neo, Danita and Kaleon, and also a lot of info from Estonia, from Arla, and nice comments on Eki and Kauris on the other stuff. I probably even can't remember all of the chatters. You are great, thank you. And, well, if you are going to sleep, have a good night. If you are still playing poker, may this be a winning night for you. Bye!